Hi, this is Rachelle with Scrapcraftastic. This is a DIY micro cover for a micro disc bound notebook, and today I'm going to be doing a micro daily spread. So let's get into it. It's a little dark here because I have my black light on. If you've been watching the channel, you know I had some glow paint from Five Below. And initially I didn't understand what it was, what it could do. Now that I know it works with a black light, I have a great idea for using it. So I have two 3x4 pieces of cardstock here that I'm using some washi tape to tape together so that I can create my micro daily layout. I haven't been so daily this year. I've kind of been in a slump, unmotivated, uninspired, but this idea came to me and I wanted to give it a try. So these are the paints. Again, they're from Five Below, $5 set, and they work with a black light. They glow with black light. So I'm picking out an orangey color, and I'm just squirting out some on the cardstock. And I gave you a little peek at what the paint looks like in the tube under the black light. Here I'm using a brush from Dollar Tree to spread the paint. And I'm adding a little more. It is thin, but I can't complain about this paint because it did exactly what I needed it to do, and I love the way this turns out. Here I'm putting down my craft mat so I don't get the paint on my background, something I should have done first, but you know. So anyway, I'm spreading out the paint, and I want a pretty good thick layer of it, so I use quite a bit, and I try to spread it out as evenly as possible. Here I'm just adding a little more. Again, I want a nice coating on the cardstock. Okay, so here we are in regular light, and I have my Sizzix Big Shot. I'm going to cut out a die that I think I purchased from iHeart Shop. I can't ever remember the name of this shop. I will put it in the description box below. I will also be using some stamps from the same shop. So again, I will put their information in the description box below. They have really good dies and stamps that are budget friendly. So anywho, I'm just cutting out this tree die from a piece of black cardstock. And this is just the regular cardstock from Michael's. I think it's what, 62 pounds, 60 some odd pounds. I think maybe I should have used the 110-pound cardstock, but this did serve the purpose, so it's fine. So I'm just pulling the die off of the paper and making sure that it did cut properly. It's a little delicate, so I was trying to be careful not to break any of the branches. And so that's it for the Big Shot. I'm going to put that away. So now I'm going to take Black Soot Distress ink by Tim Holtz. So I'm still working out my plan, figuring out how I want all of this to come together. But I started out with the frame around the edge. And then I'm going to fold it in the middle and go ahead and hit those edges as well. I probably should have used a watercolor paper because the cardstock did warp a bit from the paint, but again, it all works out in the end. So here I'm taking the black soot and making some grounding, creating a ground, if you will, for everything to rest on. Then I'm going to take, I don't remember the name of this purple color. I will put all the information in the description box below for the colors that I use. This one is Distress Oxide, and I've heard that you should use, if you're using both the ink and the oxide, that you should use ink first and then the oxide on top. I've done it both ways. I can't really tell a difference yet, but I haven't done it in large spaces, so it's difficult to tell. But here I'm just blending it up, trying to blend it into the black soot and blend it up where the paint is. So I guess the oxide did cover up the black quite a bit, so maybe that is why they say to use the ink first. I don't know, but I'm going to go back over it with the ink so that I can get some more black showing through. I am pleased with that look. So here I'm going to add a little orange at the top. And I'm not going to cover that entire area because I still want my glow paint to peek through. So just a little orange at the top to give it more of that Halloween feel. Next, I'm going to use some liquid whiteout to add some interest and texture in the background. Just a few light splashes. Now I'm going to place the tree, just dry fitting to see how I want to position it because it is bigger than the space that I need it for. And here I have some haunted houses stickers that I print and cut. The graphic is from Pixabay. It's the same haunted house that I used on the vellum that I put in my Halloween journal. If you missed that video, I'll link to it in the iCard up above. So I'm placing this sticker on the background, and here I'm going to take a Q-tip or a cotton swab in the black soot to put a little grounding and shading under the haunted house. And I'm also going to use it to make a pathway down to the edge of the page so that there's like a path up to the haunted house. Here I have some jack-o'-lanterns. They're kind of cartoony, but I thought they were pretty cool. These are also from Pixabay, and I print and cut them as stickers with the Cricut. So I'm placing those down on either side of the pathway. And now I'm going to go ahead and glue down the tree. I'm using glue from Barely Arts. It has a fine tip, so that works great on the tree, especially the branches. So what I decided to do was actually use the whole tree instead of trimming it off. So I put the base of the tree at the edge of the page at the bottom, and I didn't put glue on those top branches. And I'm going to go back and make sure that all the branches are glued down that are touching the page, but I decided not to cut off the branches that are hanging off the top of the page. I'm going to let those hang over and just stay like they are. This is not a notebook or planner that I use every day, so I don't think it will be a problem to have an element hanging off the edge of the page. And I'm going to go in with the Q-tip and add a little shading to the jack-o'-lanterns. When you need to get into little tight spaces, a Q-tip with the ink works great. So here I have stamps that I mentioned earlier from the same shop, and I'm just going to use the bats out of this collection. But they do have some awesome collections. Even if you're not looking for Halloween stamps, they have florals, they have things for Christmas. I can't even name all of them. They have so many different things, and the selection of dies is really great. So I'm taking off the 3 bats that were in this collection of stamps and putting them on an acrylic block, and I'm trying to position them the exact same way they were on the acetate sheet in the stamp package. Here I'm using a piece of note paper to test out the stamps because I have not used these before and I don't want to stamp directly on my project without knowing how well they stamp. So I'm doing a test stamp here, and it looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to go ahead and ink them up again. and clean up around the stamps because I got some ink on the block. And now I'm going to go ahead and stamp them. Okay, and then I decided I wanted a bat up in the top right corner, so I'm stamping one up there as well. And I'm just going in with black soot, darkening that area at the bottom, the grounded area. So I'm going to attempt to take the washi tape off the back. That washi tape stuck better than I anticipated, so I decided to leave it for now and just go ahead and cut the 2 pages apart. So here I have my heavy duty punch. It is an arc punch from Staples, and I'm going to go ahead and do the mushroom punches so that I can add these in my disc bound notebook. And I'm bending those tree limbs back so that they don't accidentally get punched. Here is the notebook that I made. Once again, if you want to see how I made this, there are videos on my other channel, Journal Life's Journey, that show a step-by-step process of how I created it. It's still not finished, and I doubt I will finish it before Halloween, but for the most part, it's done, and I'm happy with how it is turning out. So here I'm finding a nice place to add this. Last year when I did the micro dailies, I dated them and actually used some of them. This year I decided not to date them. I will note the date on the back of the pages, but I don't think I want to put a date on them. So here I'm putting the pages on the discs and just making sure everything is positioned nicely. And I'm going to show you a little behind the scenes. That's why the green background is there also, because I'm also filming this to put on my Instagram. Here I am staging. I don't know if that's the correct term. I'm not a photographer, but I'm adding the elements that I want to go around the layout when I take the photo. So I guess that's staging. I don't know. But these florals are from Dollar Tree, and they have a little clip on them. They're really cool. And then I have these that were just pulled off of another bouquet that I got from Dollar Tree a couple of years ago. And here we have switched to the black light so that you can see where the paint is and how it glows in the background. I may even go back and add some to the jack-o'-lanterns, maybe on their eyes and mouths. I didn't think of that initially until I saw how great that glow paint from Five Below worked. But this is the final layout. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that little gray bell so that you'll receive notification each time I upload a new video. Be sure to check the community tab and my stories for updates throughout the week. Also, check us out over at patreon.com/Scrapcraftastic for exclusive content and digital downloads. Visit my other channel, Journal Life's Journey, for craft videos and junk journals. You can find me across social media at Scrapcraftastic. Visit my website and shop at Scrapcraftastic.com. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.